In the heart of the burning frontier, where dust ruled the land and mercy was scarce, there lived a story no one dared to speak aloud. The Apache tribe was known for its strength, honor, and unbreakable spirit, but even among warriors fear had a voice. That fear had a name, Ayanna, the blind daughter of the great Apache chief. From the moment she lost her sight as a child, whispers followed her like shadows. Some said her blindness was a curse from the spirits. Others believed she carried bad fortune. One by one, suitors vanished. No warrior would bond with her. No tribe dared to accept her as a future leader's wife. She walked among her people unseen, untouched, unwanted. Her father, Chief Taza, once feared by armies and respected by tribes, now sat helpless as he watched his daughter fade into loneliness. Ayanna never complained. She listened instead to the wind, to the hooves of horses in the distance, to laughter that never included her. She had learned to smile through rejection, to bow her head when women whispered, and to sit quietly during tribal gatherings where others danced. But deep inside, her heart questioned why the spirits had abandoned her. Each night she touched the earth and prayed not for sight but for belonging. Meanwhile, beyond the Apache lands, a lone cowboy rode with no destination. His name was Caleb Stone, a man carrying his own scars. A former ranch hand turned drifter, Caleb had lost everything in a border raid: family, land, purpose. He trusted no one, avoided tribes, and survived by instinct alone. Fate, however, has a cruel way of colliding broken souls. One scorching afternoon, Caleb's horse was spooked by a rattlesnake and threw him hard against the rocks. Injured, bleeding, and unconscious, he lay forgotten on Apache territory, land where trespassers were usually met with arrows, not mercy. When Ayanna heard the distant thud and the horse's panicked cries, she followed the sound, guided only by instinct. What she found was an unconscious white man, broken and bleeding. Any other Apache would have left him, or worse. But Ayanna knelt beside him, pressing her hands to his chest, listening to his breath. She didn't see his skin color, his scars, or his past. She only felt a human heartbeat struggling to survive. Against tribal law, she called for help. When warriors arrived, outrage erupted. "He is an enemy," they shouted. "Leave him to die." Even Chief Taza hesitated. But Ayanna spoke with a strength no one expected. If the spirits wished him dead, they would have taken him already. Reluctantly, they carried Caleb to the edge of the camp, planning to abandon him once he healed or didn't. Days passed. Ayanna visited him in secret, bringing water, herbs, and quiet company. Caleb awoke to a voice, not a face, a gentle voice that asked nothing, judged nothing. He didn't know she was blind. He only knew she stayed when others left. They talked about pain, loss, and loneliness. Ayanna never told him who she was. She didn't need pity. She needed truth. And Caleb, without realizing it, began to heal not just his body, but something deeper. As trust formed, unseen by the tribe, fate tightened its grip. The same people who once refused to bond with Ayanna now watched her change. She stood taller. She smiled more. Something or someone had awakened her spirit. But when the truth about Caleb's identity came out, the tribe's patience snapped. A cowboy, a trespasser, a man who could bring war upon them. Chief Taza was torn between duty and his daughter's quiet happiness. The council demanded Caleb's removal. Ayanna listened from the shadows, heartbreaking silently. She had tasted belonging for the first time, and now it was being ripped away. As Caleb recovered, warriors prepared to escort him out by force. He never knew the risk she took for him. He never knew she was the blind chief's daughter everyone feared. And just as he mounted his horse to leave, Ayanna stepped forward, stopping him. For the first time, she told him the truth. The camp fell silent. Caleb froze. Blind, chief's daughter. The woman who saved him was the one no one wanted, the one everyone rejected. And in that moment, destiny waited for his choice. Pause. If this story is touching your heart so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because what happens next will change everything. Caleb stood frozen as Ayanna's words sank in. Blind, chief's daughter. The realization hit harder than any fall from a horse. He looked at her, not with his eyes, but with everything he felt during those long days of healing. The laughter they shared, the silence that comforted, the understanding that required no sight. Shame washed over him, not because she was blind, but because the world had made her believe that mattered. Around them, the tribe waited, some with anger, some with curiosity. Chief Taza watched closely, his face unreadable. He expected rejection. Everyone always rejected her. Caleb could have walked away. He could have bowed his head, thanked them for mercy, and disappeared into the dust. That's what the world expected. That's what tradition demanded. Instead, he did something no one expected. He dismounted. Slowly, deliberately, he removed his hat and knelt before Ayanna. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Warriors tightened their grips on spears. Caleb spoke calmly. I don't see what others see. I hear what they ignore. He took her hands gently. You were my sight when I was broken. Silence followed, heavy, dangerous. Then murmurs. Some called it madness. Others called it disrespect. Chief Taza rose, his voice thunderous. You would bond with a woman your world would mock? Caleb didn't hesitate. My world already broke me once. I won't let it decide who I love. The word echoed, love. Ayanna trembled. No one had ever spoken that word to her without pity. Tears slipped silently down her cheeks. For the first time, she wasn't being chosen out of obligation, but desire. The council feared retaliation from settlers. Others feared breaking sacred customs. But something else was happening. The younger warriors watched Caleb's courage. The women watched Ayanna's strength. The tribe began to see her not as broken, but as brave. Days passed. Caleb stayed. He worked alongside the Apache, proving his respect not with words but action. He learned their ways. He listened. He protected. Slowly, resistance weakened. Ayanna walked beside him, no longer hidden. Children followed her laughter. Elders spoke her name with warmth instead of whispers. The blind girl who was once avoided had become a bridge between worlds. But peace never comes without a test. One night, armed men from a nearby settlement attacked, seeking revenge for past conflicts. Chaos erupted. Flames lit the sky. In the confusion, Ayanna was taken. Panic consumed the camp. Warriors hesitated, fear clouded their judgment. Caleb didn't. He rode alone into enemy land, guided only by the memory of her voice. He faced gunfire, blades, and death without hesitation. When he found her bound but unbroken, Ayanna recognized his footsteps before she heard his voice. That moment sealed their fate. He brought her home injured but alive. The tribe erupted, not in anger but awe. Chief Taza stood before the people and declared what no one expected. My daughter is not cursed. She is chosen. From that day forward, Ayanna was no longer the blind chief's daughter. She was the woman who changed her tribe. Caleb was welcomed, not as an outsider, but as family. Their bond became legend whispered across the frontier. A story of how love doesn't see with eyes, but with courage. And how sometimes, the ones everyone refuses are the ones meant to lead hearts. Soft pause.